Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GST Zen's webinar. We'll be starting in few minutes.
Sister, can we start?
Yes, sir, we can start.
Great. Let me share the screen. Right. Good afternoon and welcome. Is the screen visible? And is my voice clear? Sister, is the screen visible and is my voice clear?
Yes, sir. Voice is clear and even screen is visible. Sir, you can continue.
All right. Thank you. For the benefit, we will be muting everyone and you can unmute yourself or ask questions in the chat. Good afternoon and welcome to the monthly GST Learn and GST Zen update series. With me, I have my colleagues Vasishtha and Manisha, who will be part of this journey on IMS. And we are going to discuss today a new feature which GSTN has introduced a couple of months back, and most of us are using. And today we are going to look at about how to use that and what is the practical implication of our day-to-day return filing process. We will also look at how this has to be done in GST Zen. So my colleague Manisha would be taking that portion of it. My name is Venugopal. I'm a chartered accountant practice. I've been in practice since 2002. I specialize in the field of indirect taxes, GST, automation. A little bit about GST Zen. GST Zen is an ASP and GSP, application service provider and the GST Suvidha provider. What that means is GST Zen can file returns of GST, various returns of GST to the GSTN portal without actually logging into the portal through various the APIs that have been given. The functionality of filing returns directly connecting from your books is possible. No longer are the days where it is you have to download an Excel, put it into the government portal in a JSON format, all those things. They are kind of the past. Today, we are moving to the era of GPTs, where we expect the things to happen at a much faster pace. And a little bit more about GST Zen. GST Zen has been in presence since 2017 when the GST has been there. You will find all type of corporates, listed companies to mom and pop stores using our application. The most loved feature of GST Zen is consolidated return data, where on a click of a button, the finance manager, tax manager, or audit team gets a view of what is the sales that have been reported through GSTR1 on a monthly basis, summary and the line item, what is the credit available vis-a-vis 2A and 2B, how much has actually been taken in 3B, the difference between 1 and 3B and difference between 3B and 2B, all in single Excel. That's the most loved report. Apart from filing of the returns, we facilitate corporates in reconciling the credits with the books through automated solutions and communicating to the vendors in a most automated way. We also assist in integration of the books with the e-invoice and e-bill portal through our APIs. There are many other tools, and one of the prominent tool which our customers use is notice management, where you will get a view of notices that are there on the government portal, and you have an action point to interact with the notice, which the most GPTs do in today's world. Our team is working on the Notice 2.0. Maybe in 2 months from now, you will see a new version of the notice management. With this brief note, let's dwell into today's discussion, which is on IMS. What I'm going to cover is what is IMS, the workflow, how the government portal would look, GSTN portal looks, FAQs that you may have, and how the IMS compliance will happen in GST Zen. It's 3:05, 3:06, and we will end up this session around 4 o'clock. I will be taking till 3:30, 3:40. Feel free to put your questions in the chat box. Let's start with understanding what is IMS, Invoice Management System. Let's understand this conceptually. When we say Invoice Management System, what we mean by it. We all know seller, when making a supply, raises an invoice and issues to the recipient. So invoice is always originated from the seller. Seller has a copy of the invoice. He doesn't need to know. Buyer needs to know the invoice. Today, 90% of the transactions B2B happens through e-invoice. So the recipient also has a copy of invoice on a real-time basis. Why we have this IMS? Fundamentally, the difference between GST returns and IMS, GST returns is something that you will be doing month on month. So you have a GSTR1 for the month of January, February, March, April. while IMS is a central reporting repository. It's at one place. Now, what does that mean? You do not have this concept of IMS April, IMS June. No, it's an invoice management system. Now let's delve deeper into when we say invoice management system, what exactly it is. As a seller, I have the list of invoices of mine visible in GSTR1, visible in GSTR1, visible in my ERP. But what I don't know is what is that this recipient doing with that? Has he taken the credit of it or has he not taken credit of it? Converse, you are the recipient. You don't know till you see GSTR2B who are the people who have issued invoices to you. Currently, you may see it in GSTR2A from 1st January 22. We all know Rule 36 sub Rule 4, which got amended with 16 subsection 2, which is also amended, where the credit can be taken only upon its visibility in GSTR2B. So kind of 2A has faded out. People are only looking at 2B, which gets generated on 13th midnight. So today, 14th, everyone downloads 2B. Again, 2B is specific for the month. But this IMS dashboard is now made an interim layer. So it's a layer standing between the GSTR1 and the GSTR2B. So from me as a recipient, I will be seeing list of invoices in my dashboard saying that these invoices pertains to me for taking credit. So it's a single dashboard. It will have my supplier view, which means whenever I made a sale, my inward view, wherever I am as a recipient, and what action you want to take, whether you want to take that credit, whether you don't want to take a credit. So it's a single dashboard window. So we call it as IMS, Invoice Management System, a tool which is introduced by the GSTN to help taxpayers managing their invoice on GSTN portal. Let me repeat. This is about managing their invoices on GSTN portal. Now, this is made to ensure that the improved check reconciliation, taking credit, bringing better accountability and transparency. That's the intention of bringing this system. So currently, how before IMS the scenario was: supplier filing the GSTR1, recipient taking the credit if it is visible in 2B. Not visible in 2B, no credit. But ultimately, the net credit would be flowing only through GSTR3B. You would be reporting all these credits in 4A5. If that is ineligible and permanent in nature, you will report it in 4B1. It is temporarily not available. I'm not saying ineligible, but temporarily not available, you will be reporting in 4B2. That's the mechanism of reporting. Now let's look at what IMS has come, what is the change that has happened. So, as I said, it has two things, outward and inward. Inward has some transactions available in it. Some set of transactions are not available in inward. Like ISD, RCM, ineligible due to place of supply. Like I'm here in Karnataka, if the place of supply is in Delhi or any state other than Karnataka, credit doesn't flow to my GSTN. Or ineligible owing to 16 subsection 4. Supplier today filing the GSTR1 pertaining to March 24. The due date to file the invoices pertaining to 23-24 is November 24. But today in May 25, he is reporting an invoice. even though the supplier has reported the invoice, I am not eligible for that credit. So even those doesn't come to dashboard. So dashboard, it comes where I have to take an action where the credit is eligible to me. Now, what are the actions that I can take? I can choose not to take any action also. By the way, that is called deemed accepted. I can keep it pending. I'll say I don't want to take credit now, but I don't know whether this credit belongs to me or not. Let me hold this transaction. That's called pending. Or I am saying that credit belongs to me, I will accept. Or I reject, saying that this credit doesn't belong to me. So I've created a pictorial view of how these transactions happen. Let's look at the pictorial view of how the transactions are going to happen. So the supplier on the screen left side, he is generating an invoice on a near real-time basis. This gets reported to NIC portal, and it is also updated in GSTR1 on a near real-time basis. So the data of the supplier is flowing. Now I'm explaining the recipient dashboard. This data of the supplier is flowing to GSTR1. In a normal course, it would have gone to 2B, 2A, and 3B thereon. But now you can see there is an interim box called IMS. Except these RCM and ineligible records, which I have explained in the previous slide, except these records, all records will move to IMS. And I will be taking an action. What's the action? I can say I am rejecting this invoice. I am a recipient, I'm rejecting the invoice. What would happen if I reject an invoice? I am saying that I don't want the credit. Perfect, no issue. But there are documents where credit will come down. Like it's a purchase invoice. If I accept, my credit will go up. If it's a credit note, if I accept, my credit will come down. So if anything of credit notes, if it is accepted, then it is communicated back to the supplier saying that, hey, you have reduced your liability, but the recipient is saying that he is not going to reduce his input tax credit. So this credit note rejected will become the liability of the next month. It gets added to the supplier's 3B in the next month. Now, why next month? Because there would always be a timing difference when the supplier is filing, when the recipient is filing. So they made it a system that all credit notes rejected in this month will be added as a liability to the supplier. Now, this makes a much important that the supplier should be knowing which are all the documents have been accepted, which documents have not been accepted. The next action is accept. The moment I do an accept or no action, which I said deemed accepted, these records would be available for the credit. Then if I keep it as pending, I mark it as I am not going to take an action now. I want to keep it pending. I want to retain them in the IMS dashboard. Then that will be carried forward to the next IMS. When I say next IMS, that will actually be in the IMS. Only these accept and action taken records would be flowing into GSTR 2B, a draft 2B which is generated on 14th. However, I can keep changing these actions till I file my GSTR 3B. That means I have to recompute my GSTR 2B before I file 3B. Whatever the 2B which is available today, all of you, when you are downloading the credit 2B in the government portal, that is not your real credit. That is why I have used the word called draft GSTR 2B on 14th. When you are going to file, that is when it is going to become your final GSTR 2B. This values is what which would be going to your GSTR 3B. Hope the flow is clear to everyone, that how the credit is going to move from the invoice to your GSTR 3B. Now, couple of points I want you to keep in mind. I'll explain the scenarios. Of course, I have an FAQs. If you have any question not addressed, please put it in your the FAQ. So the couple of points which I want to put to your attention. First, supplier has not filed his return invoice in GSTR1. Will it come to IMS dashboard? No. Not in IMS dashboard, so not in GSTR2B, no credit. Second, supplier has filed his R1, but he filed his R1 late. What do you mean by late? He didn't file by 11th. It will come to your IMS dashboard. You will accept the invoice, but it will be traveling to the GSTR2B of next month. So again, you will not have the credit. Third, supplier has filed it in his R1, filed well within the time, but you are marking it as pending. So it will retain in the IMS dashboard. It will not travel to GSTR2B for input tax credit. Last, supplier has filed R1 within the time. You are marking it as rejected. You are marking it as rejected. So the document will travel back to the supplier saying that the recipient has rejected the credit and the recipient will not get the ETC. So we have looked at 4 scenarios where the recipient will not be getting the credit. Sometimes it is there in 2B, but in the IMS you have rejected it. Sometimes it is there in IMS because R1 filed late, it has gone to the next month. So you will need to know that the draft 2B is going to be different from final 2B. Now, every month, while you are filing the returns, you have been doing a reconciliation of purchase register with the 2B. Should you do that now? Should you continue to do it? The answer is you should do with your IMS. Earlier we were doing with 2A, then we moved to 2B. Now you have to do with IMS. So the IMS register versus purchase register, you have to do the reconciliation. Wherever they are matching, you can say accept and move to the next period. Wherever it is not matching, you want to keep it pending, you want to reject it, it's an internal call that you have to take. Now, there are people who may ask this question, is there any difference between I keep the credit under pending and I keep the credit under temporary reversal for B2? In either cases, I'm not getting credit in the current month. Is there any difference? Yes, there exists a difference. Firstly, you will keep it under pending when you are not sure whether the record pertains to you or not. The moment it is pertaining to you, you will accept it. But you want to take a credit or not take a credit, reversal permanent 4B1, reversal temporary 4B2. The moment you accept a record, you are not hit by 16 subsection 4. Because you have accepted the credit, reversed it temporarily, you can take it 10 years later also. Like I have not paid the vendor, so I'm reversing it. Or the vendor has not filed his returns, 3B is not filed, you are reversing it. You can take the credit later, anytime, right? But if you are marking it as pending in the IMS dashboard, after 30th November, all those pending records of the previous financial year will vanish from IMS dashboard because they are hit by 16 subsection 4. So by 30th November, if you have not taken an action, the credits are lost. So you need to know the key difference between pending and reporting a value in 4B2. If you still have questions, please put it in the chat. So what happens to your input tax credit? A quick recap. If you are accepting it, or no action taken. The first one and last one, it's in green color. So it will be part of your GST or 2B ITC available section, and it would be auto-populated into 3B as eligible. Now, doesn't mean that it is really eligible. You have to comply with your 17 subsection 1, 17 subsection 2, 17.5, rule 42, 43 is all your headache. You have to compute and do the reversal. So that means you will report this credit in 4A5. Later, you will decide the eligibility and put it into 4B1, 4B2. If you mark it as rejected, the red color one, it will be part of GST or 2B as rejected credits, and it will not be populated in GST or 3B. If you're keeping it as pending, it will not travel to 2B. It will still be there in IMS dashboard till you accept or reject in the future. Till that point, it will not come to IMS dashboard. So current month, it cannot be part of your GST or 3B. Let's see how this view in the government portal. It has two different views. On the left side, you can see inward supplies. Right side, you are seeing outward supplies. Let's see inward supplies, how it will be. You will select the dashboard. It will automatically show how many B2B invoices, how many B2C are available, the actions that you have taken. No action, accepted, rejected, pending. You can see this is the summary view that would be visible to you. If you click on any bucket, it will show that, okay, these are the invoices. You have a filter option. You can see records per page is 10. On the right side, you can see a filter. What does this filter do? This filter can help you quickly select the records, accept, reject, pending. You can quickly select and do it. How does it do? Either you can select one by one, or in the filter, when you drop down, you can select by GST of the supplier. You can select by invoice type, whether it is regular, where you can select it by the invoice status or the source. There are multiple fields that are available. You can put that. You can click on select all and take a bulk action. Please note, you can do this if the number of records are 500 and below. If the records are more than 500, you definitely need the support of tools like GST Zen, which will automatically download from the government portal through APIs and give you a real-time dashboard. Then there is a reset button. There's a compute button. I'll tell you how that plays a very important role. Firstly, if you have to look at the flow, the accepted, deemed accepted will be moving out of dashboard and forming part of 3B. And you may keep it for pending, that will be staying in the dashboard. Next month, new records will be added. The previous month pending records are already there. You will have to take action on all of that. If you make a rejection, again, it would be going out of your IMS dashboard. So if no action is taken, then the GST or 2B, which is generated on 14th of the month, which is like now, that is going to be your final records. So the draft 2B is going to be becoming as a final GST or 3B. Compute button is very important. You will not be able to file your GST or 3B unless you recompute your 2B, because what was generated is the draft. Now, before filing your 3B, you got to recompute your 2B. The data from 2B will be flowing to your 3B, and wherein you can go and get the latest ITC details. At that point in time, you may do a reconciliation between books and 2B. Assuming you are doing a reconciliation between books and 2B before the IMS. In the IMS, someone is taking an action called pending and rejected. You may find the record in 2B, but it will not be coming into 3B, because finally, when is a 2B which is done, the pending records are not moving to 2B. rejected records going under rejected section and not an eligible section. So you will not be able to do matching. So the matching of the books and 2B has to be done after you do a recompute and get a new 2B. Where do I find the recompute button? You will find the recompute button right below here. You can see on the right side of the screen, the right below there, compute GSTR 2B. So when you click on that, the 2B will be computed and recomputed and it would be visible to you. Let's move to IMS outward, which is the suppliers. Any questions? Let me look at the IMS outward dash. Sorry, let me see the Q&A section. Some people have said I'm not hearing anything. Hope that was taken care of. Vasishtha, was the voice clear so far?
Yeah, sir, it's clear.
Okay. Perfect. And there will definitely be some technical glitches at one point. So we have the recording. So you will get a copy of recording. I can see one question. Bill of 30th April received in the next month, which is 5th May, but the party filed in GSTR1 on time. So 3B. So can I take ITC of it now? What should I do? If it is reversed in 4B2, then how do I take it again next month? Which table? By Ashish Darkar. Ashish, pretty simple. Any record which is any value which is reported in 4B2, we call this as a temporary reversal. The temporary reversal reverse the credit would be tracked in electronic credit reversal and reclaim statement. Whichever the month you want to take a credit of it, you will be reporting it in 4D1 and adding that value again in 4A5. The moment you report anything in 4D1, that will be taking the credit available in your temporary credit, electronic credit reversal and reclaim statement, and it will get added back to your 4A5. So that is how the month in which you are doing, you will be doing it. Kirti's question, one of my invoice was kept pending in February because it was not filed, although it appeared in IMS. While filing for the March, I tried to accept the invoice in the IMS. However, my records are not being saved. It shows one record failed to save. The error is frozen, which means the respective 3B for which record belongs has already been filed. My question, how can I accept that invoice and claim my input tax credit? Kirti, it appears to be little technical because sometimes even GST and portals will have a glitch. You got to write to the grievance. Otherwise, all the records that have been kept pending can be accepted in the next month. And I did not see any issue till date. Okay, next 10 minutes, I will complete the supplier review and I'll hand it over to Manisha. Now, so far we have seen the recipient view. In the supplier view, you can see the supplier, the list of the invoices which have been uploaded by him. What is the status of it by the recipient? So you will get a screen on the down, you can see the scroll bar, which the first section is your invoice. When you drag and move it to the right side, you will be able to actually see the status of it, whether it is accepted, rejected, pending. All the data will be able to, you will be able to see. So I have listed some of the FAQs which you should be aware. Firstly, we have a sequential generation of the returns. If you don't file 3B of the current month, you cannot file R1 of the next month. R1 is not filed next month, 3B is not fileable. 2B itself will not get generated for next month if 3B is not filed. So government has made earlier, one was linked with one. In fact, in the beginning, you can skip one for a couple of months and file the one of the subsequent month. So all things were there. Over the time, they have fixed one by one. Editing of records. This is very important. Let's say you have done your reconciliation of IMS with your books of accounts. You are a recipient, you have done the reconciliation. I am the supplier. I did an erroneous invoice. Invoice physically I have issued you for 1 lakh, but while entering the data and putting it into the portal, I have entered as 10 lakhs. You have accepted it, but because it is there in R1, you have accepted it. Before I file my R1, I again rechecked. Then I realized it was 10 lakhs. What will I do? I'll connect it back to 1 lakh. The moment I correct it to 1 lakh, the action that you have taken will go off. So you have to accept it again. The action that you have taken will go off. You have to accept it again. Likewise, I may delete a record also. Like I have uploaded the sales register of party A and party B. Possible, errors can happen. So then I realized before filing of R1, I realized that, okay, I've wrongly uploaded wrong data. Then I'll select all and I'll delete it. Right? So the moment I edit or delete, so the action which is taken by the recipient will be reset. So new action to be taken for the document. What documents will not be forming part of IMS? I've already told: RCM record, time barred record, ineligible due to POS rules, or ICE gate related documents, bill of entry on import of goods while you report it in 4A1, that will not be coming. Documents flowing from GSTR 5 and GSTR 6. Any reversal that you have to do on account of Rule 37 or 37A, even that will not be forming part of IMS. But records, you cannot take any action as pending. Either you have to mandatorily accept or reject. You cannot keep pending. As of now, you cannot keep the records pertaining to credit note as pending. Credit note necessarily has to be accepted or rejected. So I, as a recipient, I have to accept my credit note or reject. If I accept my credit note, my credit will be lower in the current month. If I reject my credit note, it will be added as a liability to the supplier in the next month. Like the original credit note, downward amendment, upward amendment to all the corrections in the credit note. Table 9 of GSTR1 9A, 9B, even those upward, downward amendments, even that also has to be accepted or rejected. So if you see credit notes, you cannot take any pending that is graded out. Either you mandatory accept it or reject it. Now, if there are any original and amended records in the same period, sometimes the amendment happen in the same period or sometimes may happen in the different period. Now, if it is in the same period, let's say I have reported my GSTR1, then in 1A, I have changed the value from 1 lakh to 10 lakhs or 10 lakhs to 1 lakh. So whatever is the action I am taking, I am a recipient, I am taking an action on the new invoice that will prevail. But for me to take an action on the new invoice, the original invoice should not be in pending state. Original invoice should be either in accepted or rejected or no action state, but it cannot be in the pending state. This is something that you will have to do. Like earlier, Kirti or someone asked that, okay, some errors are coming. Sometimes these technical errors we should be aware. If you want to accept the amended record, the original invoice cannot be in the pending state. This applicable in the next period also. If you are carrying forward to next period, even in the next period, there's the same thing. But in the first period, if I have already taken an action of accepting, the next period, what will happen is it is an independent record that is flowing. Whatever is action taken on the amended record, that will be prevailing. What happens if the recipient rejects the record? It is going back to the supplier, but by mistake. It's like galti to hoti hai, right? So if by mistake you have rejected a record, you got to call back the supplier. Ask the supplier to reissue the record. How will a supplier reissue the record? I said there is an option of amendment. Now, why should supplier amend it? Like original invoice was, let's say 1 lakh. Invoice was issued to Venu. Venu has received it. By mistake, the accountant of Venu has rejected it. So what should supplier do? Supplier does nothing. You have to request him, please open the record, say as amend, and don't amend anything. Earlier we used to do this, change the invoice number with 1A, adding some number, prefix, suffix, or changing the invoice value some 1 lakh to 1 lakh 1 rupee. Now the GSTN has changed this. You open the record and again submit it. So you are saying the record needs to be amended. You are selecting the record is open. You don't make any change, just submit it. What will happen? Let's say I'm supplier. The moment I amend, the delta increase or decrease will get added to my 3B. That's the normal course. But in the current case, there is no change. So my 3B liability is intact. The moment there is an amend, the invoice is now coming to the recipient. Recipient can accept, reject, pending. Please note, very important point. GSTN currently has provided an option of amending a record only once. Let's say you have rejected the record second time. You can now go back and ask the supplier to amend it again, because that option to amend again is not there. What's the option then? Supplier has to issue a credit note for the first invoice, issue a new invoice, and then it has to come. Okay, you may ask, okay, first invoice, I have not taken the credit. Supplier is issuing a second invoice. For the second invoice, I will take the credit. But supplier is issuing a credit note to the first invoice. If I accept, my credit goes down. If I reject, his liability will increase. So again, his liability will get increased. He has to manually correct his GST or 3B, saying that this recipient has rejected the first invoice. So the credit note I am manually correcting in my 3B. Currently 3B is not logged. It is going to be logged. They have found one solution and way out. Actually, they gave a concept paper. This is how we would want to do it. Let's see how that is going to come up. But be careful when you're rejecting an invoice and rejecting a credit note. Another question. Let's say invoice pertaining to a motor vehicle. Original invoice is a motor vehicle. I have accepted it. It came into my 4A5. I have reported it into my 4B1. I did not take the credit. Original invoice is issued for 10 lakhs. Negotiation was going on. They said, okay, 9,50,000 rupees. 50,000 rupees, they have issued a credit note. Original invoice, I haven't taken a credit. If I accept my credit note, my credit is going to go down. What do I do? Again, right now, the solution to it is, the moment it is reduced, manually you correct your 4A5, because your 4B1 is at a full value already. Yeah. So you will restore back your 4A5 to ignoring the credit note, whatever is the credit is. Hope these two issues of credit note, both from the supplier side and recipient side, you have a fair idea. What if the rejection is marked erroneously? We have seen it. What about 2B for quarterly taxpayer? We all know for a quarterly taxpayer, month 1, month 2, it's IFF. So 2B is not going to get generated. It is going to get generated only in month 3. So in the month 3, the same logic is applied. So you will be, what happens in month 1, month 2, since it is not generated, you are not going to take any credit. You will be taking basis the quarterly credit that's coming. How can I regenerate the GST or 2B? There is a recompute button. What will happen to 2A? 2A will continue. It will still continue as such. Is it mandatory to recompute 2B? If there is any change in the IMS, yes, mandatory to recompute your 2B. Can a supplier change forward charge invoice to reverse charge or vice versa? Yes, supplier can always change. If the supplier is marking a FCM to RCM, the record will move out from IMS dashboard. If RCM is moved to FCM, the record will enter into the IMS dashboard. What would happen if after the filing, the next liability will get adjusted automatically? Whether the liability can be added in the same GST or 3B if credit note is rejected? No, it will be added into the next month, subsequent month tax period. Certain changes, hard locking of auto-populated values in 3B from April 25, table 3.2, more mainly coming from your table 14 and 15 of the R1. The auto-populated values are basis your R1. So that is not going to be edited, right? So what we will do is I will stop my sharing and we will have Manisha walking us through whatever I have discussed so far, how we will actually implement and use it in Zen in a live. Manisha, over to you.
Thank you, sir. Very good afternoon, everybody. Let me quickly share my screen so that I can show you that how you can do the working of IMS through GST Zen. Hope you are able to see my screen. So can you please confirm once?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So this is our GST Zen dashboard. Once you sign up and log in, this will be the first screen what you will get once you log in. So this is our dashboard where you can see all the GST numbers you have added. And if you want to add more GST numbers, we have a tab here to add more GST numbers. The next tab we have is manage multiple GSTNs. So if you want to upload the purchase register and sales register for multiple GST numbers, you can do so using this particular tab. Autopilot is a feature which facilitates you to work for around 50 GST numbers in one go. Like you can fetch the data from the government portal using this tab for multiple GSTs in one go. This notice management facilitates you to get the notices on the real-time basis. Like it will sync on the GSTs and it will help you to prepare the replies for the show cause notices and all. So here I will be choosing one of the GST numbers to show you that how we can access IMS in GST Zen. So once I click on this GST number, it will take me to the next screen where this is the main screen where you will get all the options, what all features we have in GST Zen primarily. So here we have a download a report option, reconciliation and GST return. So under this download a report option, we have multiple reports. Like you can have a consolidated report, GSTR1 outward report, GSTR1A outward report, GSTR1 e-invoices report, 2A, 2B, 3B, compliance report download. All these reports are available on the monthly and the yearly consolidated report. When we talk about the reconciliation, we have purchase register versus 2A, purchase register versus 2B, sales register versus GSTR1, sales register versus GSTR1 invoices. For this return filing, you can file your GSTR1, 1A, 3B, 9 and 9C. So all the options are available here. Moving to this IMS, if you go to the right hand side of your screen, you will find this IMS inward and IMS outward. First, I will be talking about this IMS inward. So when I click on that particular tab, it will first ask you to log in through your through the OTP. I have already logged in. That's why it is not giving me an option. On the right hand side, on the left hand side, you will see three options. That is summary, update action, and tutorial. Let me talk about the tutorial. So basically, this is an reference page for you, which will help you to understand that how you can do IMS, use IMS dashboard in GST Zen. Of course, you can do the reconciliation as well. Like you can upload your purchase register, you can run the matcher and download an Excel report. If you don't want to work on the Excel thing, then of course a dashboard, an elaborative dashboard is there for your working. So here, if you want to do, there are two options. Like if you want to do the reconciliation, you need to upload your purchase register. If you just want to have the data which is there in your IMS as per the government portal, of course you can do your working with that too. So you can upload your purchase register. So for this uploading of a purchase register, there is no requirement, like there is no fixed template which we ask for to upload. It's just that whatever minimal required column should be there, you should have that particular columns in your Excel. Then here you will be clicking on this refresh tab. This refresh tab facilitates of fetching all the information, whatever is present on the government portal into GSTZ. So once I click on this, it will ask the permission. Once you confirm it, it will give you the notification on the left hand side. So here on your screen, you will get all the notifications so that you also knows that what exactly is happening for your whatever function you want to perform. So it is giving you an option that everything is successfully downloaded. Whatever invoices are not there, it will show like no IMS invoices are found for this particular session. Okay, and then you will run the matcher. Again, you will find this tab on the right hand side of your screen. You will run the matcher, and then you can have a Excel and or if you want to work on the GST Zen itself, you can do so. So let me take you back to the summary page. Once you click on this refresh invoices tab given on the right hand side top, once you click on it, it will give you the summary here like this in a tabular format. It will talk about all the headings separately, whatever invoices is there under no action, accepted, rejected, pending. If you click on this particular document type, it will take you to the next screen, that is update action. Here we have multiple functions, multiple filters which you can apply. You can search for a particular invoice. If you like, as I clicked on the B2C invoices, so it automatically applied a filter as the invoice type for B2B. If I remove this filter, it will give me all the invoices, whether it belongs to B2B or B2C. You can also have a status whether the particular transaction is filed or not in the GSTR1. Portal action, whether the particular invoice is accepted, rejected, or what is the status on the portal. And similarly, the current action is what you have taken on the GSTZ. You can apply this filter here to see what exactly, currently I don't have any invoices in this, but you can simply see that whether it's matching or not, whether it's exactly matching or it's partially matching. Then I'll quickly run the matcher. Okay, so here while running the matcher, it will give you the maximum days difference and maximum tax amount difference. You can provide the days and the tax amount as per your convenience, and then you will run the matcher. So it will give you a notification here that the reconciliation started. Please wait. So it will take 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes to run the matcher and give you elaborative thing where you can see that what all invoices which are present in your purchase register are matching with the portal data or not. For the convenience, I have already downloaded an Excel report. Let me take you to that Excel. So here this particular Excel has 4 sheets. One is about sheet, which will talk about like when you have downloaded and what is the time of it. Then the second sheet is your main sheet, where you will see whether the particular invoices are matched as per books or not. So here it gives you all the information about the invoice level, whether it's there on the books or portal or not. Okay, and then we have this match type, where I can just simply apply the filter and see whether the invoices are exactly matching or some mismatches are there, or the invoices there only in IMS, or the invoice number is mismatched. So there are few types where you can identify whether your invoices are exactly matched or not. Let's suppose I want to work for this exact match. Let's suppose I want to work only with this exact match, so I can just apply the filter and check whether whether to accept it or reject it. So for your particular, like whatever working you want to do, you have a separate column with the name GST then IMS action. You can just simply click on the drop down to select your action, whether you want to accept it, reject it, or pending. Let's suppose I want to accept it. And I want to do the same for all the exact matches invoices. I can do the same. Suppose I want to accept all these invoices. So there is one thing is that you are not required to save this Excel in your system, or you want to re-upload it into GST Zen. So whatever working you will be do in this peachish color column, you can save it directly into the GST Zen. So do the same. We have a tab here with the name GST Zen. You will click on it and click on this invoices tab, and these invoices will save into GST Zen automatically. Okay, and then when you go back to this, it will, whatever changes you have made in the Excel, it will save in the GST Zen database, and you are required to push the data, like whatever actions you have taken from GST Zen to the portal. And for the same, we have another tab on the right hand side with the name Save Changes to the Portal. You will click on this, whatever changes you have made and saved into the GST Zen for your IMS actions, it will be pushed to the government portal, and then it will take like couple of minutes and update all your data here in this dashboard. So you can do your IMS working conveniently using this GST Zen tool. Now taking you towards the now moving forward to IMS outward. So I come to the previous screen where I have this IMS outward tab. I'll just simply click on it. Currently, we are building this interactive dashboard where you can do, or where you can take the actions for your invoices, whatever is there as an outward invoices. On the right hand side, you can just simply choose the year, and then you can choose the month for which you want to check your outward invoices, and you will click on this fetch latest invoices. Once you confirm it, it will fetch all the invoices, whatever are there as an outward IMS IMS outward, and then it will update and sync the data here. You can also check when you have downloaded the data, and if the details are not there, it will give you the pop-up in the red on the left hand side of your screen, and then you can simply download the outward invoices report. Let me just show you that what kind of a help this particular report can provide you. So this is basically the IMS outward report which I have downloaded. So this report has multiple sheets. The first sheet talks about all the kind of invoices you have. All the kind of invoices are present in different sheets. Let me go to this B2B invoices. So here under this B2B invoices, it is giving me all the reports. So the next, the main two columns here we have is this IMS action. So whatever action is there for this IMS thing, it will reflect it here, whether the action has been taken, whether it is accepted or rejecting. It will show you all the options here. You can also apply the filter to check for all the accepted invoices, no action, pending, rejected. Also, you can check for which particular return this particular invoice has been considered. So it is the GSTR one. So similarly, the details are there for this IMS section and return type for the B2B line items, CDNR. You can see all the sheets have these two additional columns, which can facilitate you to consider whether an action has been taken for this particular transaction or not. So this is about the IMS outward. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha. Can you just come back to the Excel of the IMS outward dashboard?
Sure, sir. I'm just sharing my screen again.
Okay.
Is this one?
Yeah, will just be here. Okay. So now the friends, the column Q, you can see that the no action. This is the GSTR1 data, right? So whatever is the status, and this is real time. It's not that you downloaded once and it is going to be there, that like unlike GSTR1 or 2A, 2B, for that month you have taken. No, it's like you're taking it on a real time basis. What happened? What is the status of your records? It is going to show. And if any credit notes are rejected, you better be aware, because this becomes as a liability in the subsequent month. So from the supplier point of view, every month you also have to download your IMS outward dashboard to see what is the status of my records from the recipient perspective. That's it. Yeah. Thank you. So we have answered all the questions. If anyone wants to ask a question, you can unmute yourself. And Krishna Reddy raised the hand. I have given a prompt to talk. You can unmute and ask the question. All the questions in the chat have been answered. The Q&A section. If something is missing, you can always write to us. Here is our connects. 7406441122 is our WhatsApp number. support@gstzen.in. You can always reach to us. If you have any domain related question on the GST or the IMS, you can always reach to me, venu@vnv.ca. You can scan this QR code. We have our GST update WhatsApp group. You can always write us, chat with us through that group. A lot of people who write to us various queries, and time to time we address those queries. So feel free to be in touch with us on the GST Learn subject. Please note that technology is a necessary evil which we should live with. Gone are the days you will still saying that I am good with Excel, macros, pivots, VLOOKUPs. I will continue with that. You are not going to be productive being that way. There are tools and sophisticated mechanisms where the data can be downloaded, reconciled, communicated with the vendors. So tools like GST Zen will help your life easy, smoother, and better. Adopt technology and stay ahead in the compliance practice. This note, we are well on time and we are concluding session for today. Catch up in the next session. Thank you.